The bus rolled into the small town just after sunrise, and a soft mist hung over the empty street. The only bright place was the diner on the corner. Its windows glowed like warm squares. Ethan stepped down with a tired backpack and a folded paper in his pocket. He had written 3 small goals on that paper: find a room, call his sister, look for steady work. He did not hope for much more. He told himself he would try to be a man who showed up every day and kept his word, even when the days felt slow. He walked past a little bookshop with a bell over the door. The sign said Second Chances, hand-painted, a bit chipped at the edges. He liked the name at once. A woman inside was placing fresh daisies in a jar near the register. Her face was calm and steady, like someone who handled many things on her own. When she noticed him, she lifted a hand, then pointed to a small sign. Not open yet, 10 o'clock. It was 8:30. Ethan nodded and sat on the bench outside. He did not push the door or knock on the glass. He waited and watched the town wake up. A mail truck rattled down the street. A boy on a bike shouted good morning to the woman in the bookshop window. She waved back the same way each time, not big, not small, just enough to say, "I see you." Ethan liked that. At 10 sharp, the open sign flipped. He stood, brushed off his jeans, and went in. The bell made a clean, small sound. "Hello?" he said, voice quiet. "I'm Ethan. I just came to town. I can fix things and carry things. If you need help, I will work hard and show up on time." The woman nodded. "I'm Maya," she said. "The back step is loose. The roof leaks when it rains near the shelf with old history books. There are donation boxes that need sorting. I cannot pay much. A little is fine," Ethan said. "I can start with the step today." Maya handed him a jar of nails, a hammer, and a small crate he could use as a stool. He did not ask too many questions. He tested the wood, measured the wobble, and set to work. By noon, the step was solid. He wrote his name and his hours on a single clean sheet and placed it under a heavy paperweight shaped like a bird. "Thank you," Maya said when she saw the note. "Many people forget to write hours down. It causes trouble later." "I have caused trouble before," Ethan said, honest and plain. "I am trying not to cause trouble anymore." He came back the next day and the day after that. He walked to the hardware store, bought a strip to seal the front door, and put it on his own list to install when the wind rose again. He sorted donation books by author and marked the boxes with thick, simple labels. He did not tell his whole story. He did not ask for Maya's story either. He waved to the boy on the bike and learned his name was Liam. He called his sister each night from the payphone near the laundromat. "I am all right," he told her. "I am trying to be steady." One windy afternoon, a storm rolled over the town. Rain pushed against the windows. A draft slid under the front door. "I will fix the door sweep tomorrow," Ethan said. Maya pulled her sweater closer and gave a small nod. "People start strong," she said softly, not unkind. "They like the idea of helping. Then the days get ordinary and they stop showing up. My life has taught me not to expect much." "I will be here tomorrow," Ethan said. He did not add more. He knew big promises can sound sweet and then taste bitter. He wanted to keep his words small and true. 2 weeks became a month. The roof patch held in the next rain. Ethan learned where Maya kept the extra pens and the cotton cloth for dusting. He found simple ways to be useful without making noise about it. When the mail brought a heavy catalog stack, he took it before it hit the counter. When an older lady from the bakery, Mrs. Fernandez, brought a bag of day-old rolls, he thanked her and set a few aside for tea. Maya thanked her too, but her thank yous were tidy, as if she folded them up and put them on a shelf. Her gratitude was real, just careful. One afternoon, a man came in and asked for a rare local history book. He grew upset when he learned it had been sold the winter before. "I drove far," he said, "and I counted on it being here. You should keep better records." Maya's face went still. She had known this tone before. Before the moment got sharp, Ethan stepped a half-step forward. Not to block, but to help things move. "Sir," he said, gentle, "if you leave your number, we can call the moment a copy comes in. I can also call the shop up north. They might see one." The man stared at Ethan, then wrote his number. "Tell me if you find it," he muttered, and left. Maya let out a small breath. "Thank you," she said. "You handled that well." "I have not always handled things well," Ethan said. "I am practicing." That evening, after the shop closed, the street was quiet. The diner's neon blinked off. Maya turned the sign to "See you soon" and rested both hands on the counter. "You should know something," she said, eyes on the wood grain as if reading it. "People have left me. My dad left when I was 9. My first serious boyfriend left the day after we signed a lease. A business partner left when the shop was in trouble and bills were due. Each time someone said they would stay, they did not. I learned to keep the circle small. I do not ask for help. When someone offers help, I wait for the day they stop. It always comes. Her voice was calm, but the truth inside it was not. She finally met his eyes. You will leave like the rest, she said. It was not a test. It was a belief built from years. The old fridge in the back hummed. Ethan did not rush into the space with bright words. He stepped a little closer and lowered his voice on purpose so it would not make her flinch. Not until you believe I won't, he whispered. And if it takes time, I have time. Maya studied his face. She saw early mornings under his eyes, careful notes on timesheets, a new door sweep on his list, the back step fixed, the history shelf dry after the storm. Time is expensive, she said. I know, he answered. I am willing to spend it here. The next morning he arrived before the sun cleared the roof lines. He swept the sidewalk. He shook the mat. He taped a small sign on the door that said, back in 20 minutes. Donation run, and took a box to the church thrift sale. He returned at 9:55 and pulled the sign off before 10. Maya noticed the time and the quiet accuracy of it. Days found their rhythm. Tuesday afternoons, a few children wandered in after school to look at picture books. Ethan repaired loose spines at the counter. Liam traded small chores for comics. Mrs. Fernandez started dropping off cinnamon rolls on Fridays and refused payment every time. A jar sat on the counter with a handwritten card that read, "Leave a note for someone who helped you." Now and then a folded paper appeared in it like a small seed. Winter came early and cracked a pipe in the back room. Water pooled near a stack of first editions. Maya called the plumber. "Morning," the plumber said. "Can't make it sooner." Maya pressed her lips together and faced the wet floor. Ethan pulled on boots and started moving boxes one at a time, steady and sure. He set fans to blow air across the puddles. He made tea when her hands went numb. They worked until the clock reached 2 in the morning. They talked only when needed. When the last box was safe, Maya sat on the floor and leaned against a shelf. "Thank you," she said so softly the words felt like a new bridge. "I would have lost so much." "You didn't," Ethan said. "We didn't." The next day when the plumber was done and the floor was dry, Maya opened the drawer and took out a spare key. She held it like something fragile. "You can have a key," she said, "so you don't have to wait outside in the morning." Ethan took it with both hands and nodded. "Thank you," he said. He did not try to make the moment bigger than it was. He just added the key to his ring and went back to wiping down shelves. A week later, the town held a small harvest fair on the school lawn. Maya set up a table for the shop. She taped the jar for thank you notes to keep it from tipping in the wind. Ethan carried boxes, righted the sign when gusts pushed it over, and kept laughing when it tried to fall again. People wrote titles of their favorite books on a big board. A woman in a yellow coat stopped by and said to Maya, "I came here after my divorce. Your shop was the first place where no one took from me. It helped me breathe." She touched the board and walked on. Maya stood very still for a moment and then smiled to herself, small and private. In the middle of that fair day, Ethan got a message from his sister. She needed help moving the next morning 2 towns away. He showed the text to Maya instead of hiding it. "Go," she said at once, even though fear tugged at her. "Family comes first." "Family includes the place we are building," he said. "I will call a friend to help her, and I will send the money I saved for the truck. We will pack up here together and close right," and that is what they did. Through dusk they packed, counted the small sales, folded the tablecloth, and loaded the van. When it was done, Maya watched the last fair lights go out and felt a new sentence sit down beside her quietly. He chose to stay tonight. Summer arrived with long light and warm wind through the open door. Mornings in the shop began with the same small, calm things. Ethan wiped the counter and checked the till. Maya wrote the day's list with her neat hand. They did not hurry. They did not waste time either. At 4 o'clock on Tuesdays, the children arrived for reading. Sometimes they brought friends. Sometimes only 2 came. Either way, the chairs were set out. The pitcher of water was cold and the jar of pencils waited like an invitation. Steadiness itself felt like a story they were telling together, sentence by sentence. One morning, Liam rolled up on his bike with a torn shoelace and a big idea. He wanted to make a little guide to birds of the river path and sell it for a few coins to save for a kite. Ethan tied the shoelace with a square knot and said the idea was good. Maya pulled out blank index cards and they began. Liam drew birds on each card and Maya wrote simple notes in clear letters. When they had 10, Ethan made a tiny flip book with a cardboard cover and a string loop. They set it by the register with a hand-lettered sign. Liam's smile made the whole front window feel brighter. The first time a customer bought a guide, he stood very tall and said thank you like someone, learning how to accept kindness without fear. Little things like that kept happening. Mrs. Fernandez taught Maya how to twist cinnamon roll dough faster. Mr. Dev from the hardware store saved a box of mismatched hooks for Ethan, who used them to hang cloth bags for the kids' books. The town's trust moved in small visible ways like coins dropped into a jar. Maya noticed each one and wrote them down in a tiny notebook she kept in the drawer, not to make debt but to mark the shape of good days. In late June, the air turned hot and still. The old shop fan groaned and gave up. Maya frowned at the silence and did quick math in her head. Money was tight. New fans were not in the plan. Ethan walked to the thrift store and came back with 2 sturdy fans and a soft used rug for the reading circle. He paid for them himself and slid the receipt into the shared envelope with his careful note. For the shop, my share. Maya read the line twice. She looked at the fans turning, felt the cooler air on her face, and said only, "Thank you." Afterward, when he was shelving travel guides, she stood for a moment by the counter and let a quiet thought settle. He does not make loud moves. He makes steady ones. On a Thursday, a teacher named Miss Jordan came in to ask if the shop could host a Saturday morning fix-it hour for simple home repairs. Many people in town did not know how to seal a window, fix a hinge, or patch a wall. Ethan's eyes lit up. He knew how to teach without making people feel small. Maya glanced at the calendar and felt that tug of fear again. The one that asked, "Can I carry this if the other person fades?" Ethan saw her pause and spoke first. "We will start for 1 month," he said. 4 Saturdays. Simple, small. If it is too much, we stop with grace. The word grace felt like a clean cloth. Maya nodded and wrote it in the calendar. The first Saturday, 6 people came. Ethan showed them how to use a stud finder and how to patch a nail hole. He brought wood scraps and let everyone practice on a pretend wall. He said good job the same way each time with the same even tone. So praise felt like a tool, not a show. Maya made lemonade and refilled cups, listened for strain inside her own chest, and found instead a warm, low hum. At the end, a man who lived alone said, "I have put off fixing my shelf for 2 years. Now I can do it." He left with a little list and a smile that looked like a door opening. A week later, a summer storm surprised the town. Thunder rolled. The lights flickered and went out. The shop fell quiet except for the sky. Maya stood very still. Power outages had marked hard moments in her past. Freezers melting, bills rising, people leaving with soft excuses. Ethan clicked on a small flashlight and set it upright like a lamp. He moved through the aisles in that soft circle of light, checking for leaks, then set 2 bowls to catch drips just in case. He did not talk much. He made small, sure choices. Customers stepped inside out of the rain and waited. Maya lit 3 candles on the counter. The room looked different in the low light. It felt like a harbor. When the storm passed and the lights returned, she found herself laughing quietly, not because it was funny, but because nothing had broken. The outage became another line in her tiny notebook. Storm, no panic, all well. In July, Ethan's sister sent a message that her son would be in a school play if anyone could come. The play was on a Friday evening 2 towns away. It was the same night the shop had promised a local poet a corner for a reading. Once this would have been the kind of knot that pulled tight and hurt. Now they talked about it at the counter with the calendar open. "Take the bus at 3, Maya said. "I will set up the chairs and host the reading. You can send me a text when the play starts." He met her eyes. "Are you sure?" She nodded, not with brave face, but with true peace. "We are 2 people," she said. "Sometimes one goes and the other stays. Both are staying in the larger way." He smiled, a little surprised by how easily the plan came. He went to the play. She hosted the reading. The next morning they traded stories. Both events had gone well. The feeling in Maya's chest was not loss. It was spaced out. August brought new donors and old problems in new clothes. A box of books arrived with mold hidden in the middle. The scent hit them when they opened it. Mold can spread fast. Ethan carried the box outside, sealed it, and checked the nearest shelf. Maya watched him move with care and felt something like gratitude braided with relief. He explained what he was doing. Not to prove himself, but to include her. "Mold grows in silence," he said. "We will keep light and air moving." She wrote the steps down. Together, they saved the shelf. They did not have to throw away much. Small, steady choices again. One afternoon, an out-of-town buyer walked in wearing a sharp suit in a hurry. He saw a first edition behind the counter and offered cash twice its value if they would sell right now. No receipt, no waiting, no fuss. Maya felt a flicker of old fear. Fast talk, faster exit, trouble after. Ethan met the buyer's eyes and shook his head. We log all sales, he said. We keep receipts. If you want the book, we will ring it up the right way and wrap it for travel. The buyer tried again. Ethan did not change his tone. Our way is steady, sir. Finally, the man rolled his eyes and left. Maya leaned against the counter after he was gone and let a breath leave her. She had not known she was holding. Thank you, she said, not just for saying no, for saying it in a way that did not make a mess. Ethan nodded. We keep rooms warm by keeping rules clear, he said. It sounded simple. It was. As summer thinned toward fall, the fix-it hour became popular. People brought small problems. A sticky drawer, a loose chair leg, a door that would not latch. Ethan taught and listened. He learned a quiet truth while he handed out sandpaper and patience. People do not come only to fix things. They come to feel less alone while they learn. He said this to Maya one evening as they stacked chairs. She wrote it in her tiny notebook. Less alone while we learn, she read back. I like that. Then, in early September, something happened that could have shaken all the new trust if they had not learned their small lessons. A delivery was delayed by a week and then lost. The missing boxes held the shop's fall order for the school reading circle. There were sign-ups already and a date set. The tracking number showed the boxes wandering between distant cities. Maya's old fear woke fast. This is where people get disappointed and decide you are not worth the wait. She sat at the counter, fingers pressed to her temples, and whispered, I should cancel the first week. Ethan pulled a chair beside her and opened his notebook. Let us list what we can do, he said. It was not a fix. It was a map. They called the school and told the truth plain and early. We have a delay, Maya said. We are sorry. We will run week 1 with a book swap party instead, and week 2 with the new books if the boxes arrive. Miss Jordan said, that will be fine. Thank you for telling us early. Ethan posted a sign in the window inviting families to bring a favorite book, to swap and take another home. He asked Mrs. Fernandez for a tray of small cookies and paid for half. On the day of the swap, the shop was full and happy. Children held out books and traded like treasures. Laughter touched the ceiling. When the missing order finally arrived, a